this game Saturday, or Sunday rather, as a must-win game, 0-9 in Q1 games, and you guys are being talked about more than anybody about NCAA bubble stuff. So is this a must-win game?
I feel like every game is a must-win game. That's just what it is, and we focus on Sunday, and I feel like it's a must-win game.
How aware are you of the chatter about the NCAA tournament bubble, and it's no matter what game you watch, when it comes up, you guys are one of the first teams talking about it?
We focus on NC State. We're not focusing on what's we control the controllable, and that's NC State.
Caleb, Coach Davis said after the game the other night and again today that he's looked this week and maybe tweaking some things. What have those looked like in practice? What does he sort of emphasize to you this week as things that he might want to alter to try and improve some of the offense?
Just our spacing and the way we run our offense. And he hasn't really focused on telling us specifically. I'm sure he'll change that in practice today, and you'll see it in the game in NC State. But he hasn't really spoke specifically on what he'll change.
But spacing has been one of his emphasis.
How do you try to go about getting better spacing? What does that look like? I mean, you guys throw the ball to Armando. You guys are. It looks like you guys are nicely spaced around the perimeter. It just comes down to making shots. How do you try to go about improving the spacing?
Just what you said, making shots. I think that's what
it's really that simple.
Yeah, that's what'll change everything. It's just us making shots and us having the confidence and taking and making those shots.
Have you been in the gym more this week as a result of trying to do that?
I mean, I'm always in the gym.
Yeah.
So my routine doesn't change whether I go 9 for 9 or 1 for 9. So I'm always in the gym.
Have you, offensively, have you all tried anything different that stands out in particular in terms of, Coach Davis talked about getting the ball to Armando in different ways or getting out of transition. Anything you can point to that's a little bit different this week in terms of tweaks?
Definitely getting it out of transition just for us to get more easy buckets and passing the ball to Armando. Sometimes it's us cutting, us setting screens, doing a lot of those to free up him, and then also get more open shots for us. As they try to pack in, but I feel like it's just we just got it, like I said, make those open shots.
Why do you think this season there hasn't been as much transition offense for y'all? I mean, you stress it whenever we ask you about it. You say it's important, but do you think anything stands out as to why that hasn't happened this year?
I'm not really sure. It's just this is a different team, and I feel like the more and more we emphasized it, just these past 3-4 games, and we've been getting more transition buckets, and I just think we didn't really emphasize it as much earlier in the season, mid-season, but now that we are, I feel like that we are getting more runouts and league outs.
Caleb, what kind of scene, as you're mentally preparing to play NC State, what kind of scene are you envisioning over there in Raleigh? They were obviously not happy about how the game went here 4 weeks ago, whatever it is, and they usually get pretty jacked up to see the Carolina Blue. What do you think you're gonna find when you get over there on Sunday?
I mean, it's a 1 o'clock game on a Sunday, so I expect it to be loud and fans going crazy, but we going in there looking for a win, and we out for us. I just feel like the best part of it for us to see them shut up.
Have you had any weird interactions with State fans living here the last 3 years?
Nah, not really.
It's a good question.
I didn't really, get in my freshman year, obviously, because it was, COVID. There wasn't no fans, and then my sophomore year, they weren't as good as they were this year. So, but I think now that they, are as good as they are here, they'll get a pretty good crowd. So,
But nothing around town or hanging out anywhere.
More Duke than the State.
I should ask you at 3 o'clock on Sunday. I can say that.
We will.
For sure.
So would you say you hadn't really been exposed to what this rivalry has been because of that?
Nah, I wouldn't even say it's a rivalry. It's I wouldn't even say it's a rivalry. It's just another game.
How has this week been in terms of locker room demeanor? How do the guys feel? I mean, Armando said after the game the other night, we understand the situation that we're in right now. How would you sort of describe what you guys are feeling right now?
I mean, I feel we attacked our practice, with a positive mindset, and you know, will and a want to, you know, get better and better. Obviously, you know, we can't change what happened already, and we're not looking too far ahead. So I feel like, you know, our mindset is just, you know, one game at a time. And if we focus on one game at a time, everything else will work out.
Do you feel like you guys had turned a corner against Clemson and then turned right back the other way against Miami? I mean, I'm not trying to say that you did, but did you feel like, I don't know, it seemed like after Clemson it was like you guys were freed up, you know, like unburdened, and then Miami it kind of went back in a bad direction?
Yeah, that's been a, you know, kind of an issue for us this year, as far as, you know, just consistency. And yeah, I definitely, you know, felt like, you know, we did, you know, take a big step forward as far as beating Clemson and playing as well as we did. And then we kind of took one backwards playing the Miami game. But, I mean, you know, things happen, and, you know, we learned from that game, and we grew from that game as far as, you know, our mindset and us not, you know, worrying about, you know, what the outsiders say, or, you know, getting too hung up into what other people, you know, expectations are for us. And so I just feel like, you know, Coach Davis has kept us, you know, one game at a time, and once we'll let everything else play out.
Have you sensed any frustration from Pete? Do you guys have any conversations with him to kind of pull him through some of the struggles that he's had of late?
I mean, yeah, it's evident, you know, that he is frustrated, which, you know, he should be, because, you know, he's not shooting the ball as well right now. And, you know, I told him the other day that, you know, I've been there before, and multiple times in my career. So just one thing about it, just, you know, keep trusting your work, keep getting in the gym. I see how much work he puts in, and, you know, just trying to keep his confidence high. Don't lose your confidence, because it's hard to get that. It's harder to get that back if you lose it. And so I'm just trying to keep his confidence high. Every time I pass it to him, I tell him shoot it, and if he misses, you know, good shot. You know, I'm still encouraging him because, you know, one thing about it is, you know, when you're shooting the ball and it's not going your way, and you know you're a good shooter, the table's gonna turn. Like it's just how basketball goes. So, you know, that once that, you know, switch, you know, turns, and you know, he gets out his, you know, so-called slump, I feel like, you know, it's gonna be up from there.
Couple more, he's got to go to practice.
Is he too hard on himself, Pete?
I mean, I feel like we all are. We all kind of got that, you know, same mentality as, you know, we want to make every shot. We want to get every defensive stop. We want to, you know, play the right way all the time. But, you know, it's basketball. You know, things not going to go your way all the time. And, you know, he does get on himself. He's his biggest critic. And I feel like, you know, that's why he is a great player, because he is hard on himself. He cares about the game, and he cares about, you know, how he plays. If he didn't, I think that would be more of an issue. And so, I'm just, like I said, I just try to tell him to be positive and don't lose his confidence.
One more, anybody?
What? I feel like I've asked too many. I'll throw another one out there. I mean, the whole situation with Terquavian and Leaky from the first game, the foul that goes down and gets stretchered off. Like, did you feel like, is there any bad blood there? Like, it seemed like Leaky reached out to Baby T and, like, apologized, and he said, Terquavian said they were cool, and he'd always looked up to Leaky. Like, how do you see that relationship as you're going into Sunday between this guy who'll probably be guarding again, who's NC State's best player?
None. I don't think it's none. I mean, Leaky tried to make a basketball play, and, you know, fortunately, Terquavian was, you know, okay. And, I mean, that's just what it was.
Thanks, Caleb.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.